Okay, good morning, guys. Really honored to see each and every one of you. If you don't realize it, you now need to realize it, is that you are part of the Jewish people and you're part of Israel. And when I walked into the school, I wasn't let down. I was inspired to already see in this first page I open up in your Torah Day School, what's it called? The TDS Times. And it's open on this page where it says here, Daven for all our Chayalim. So you guys are already doing that. Now, in the middle over here, there's three great men, Ezra, Matan, and Cyril. Matan is a friend of mine, and I saw him in Israel, in the battlefield. He's a graduate of Torah Day School, and he is a sharpshooter. He's their number one shooter in the most very distinguished combat unit in Golani number 12. But what I want to tell you is I've just booked a ticket to go to Israel. I didn't know what I was going to do. And then all I can tell you, I live by the concept, and what you know of is Ein Od Milvado. You know what that means? It means that there's nothing but Hashem. Nothing else. There's nothing but Hashem. Hashem is everything. So when I went, I booked the ticket. Next thing, I yelled at Chaviv had collected a whole lot of stuff that she wanted to go to Israel. She didn't know how to take it or how to get it over there. And so I said, fine, I'll get it over there. Now understand, we had to put that into duffel bags. We landed up with 16 different duffel bags. Now the airlines are not too happy to take so many unless I can charge you a lot of money. So we had 16 duffel bags, but each person's only allowed to take 10. So you guys are good with math. You realize that if there's only one person, you can't take 16, you only can take 10. So I asked Hillel Roden, Rabbi Roden's son, would he join me? And he said, yeah, absolutely, he'd come with me. So now we solved the problem. So we take the 16 bags, and 16 bags is a lot. And you have to coordinate it and carry them and everything else. I had organized for a driver to pick us up, and getting through customs wasn't easy. So I go through customs and I'm like pretty confident, all I'm here to do is to help the soldiers and everything else. Why would they push back? Ein Od Milvado. There's a reason. I don't know what it was. But I remember shouting, not saying nicely, I said to the guy, what? We in a war. So he says, what, you telling me? I'm here in the war. I said, no, you making the war with me. So there's two wars. But that doesn't work because there were two wonderful people, Rachel and Yossi, in the system that eventually got the 16 things out. In the cases were stuff for the evacuees, there was stuff for the soldiers. For anyone, I didn't know what all was in the bag. I knew somewhat what was in the bag. But now we have and then at the same time I asked people if they could please make a donation. And people made a donation and we raised $25,000 in a day and a half or something like that. And just received a check yesterday for $20,000 from one individual. So people are really giving. I was lectured before I went, not lectured in a bad way. I said, you're late to the game. I left on December the 3rd, so the war started October 7, 8. So I'm too late to the game. People have already given all the money that they can. You're not going to get any money. I don't know, I heard what he said. And it's almost like the statement was that the war's over. You collected the money, you're late to the game, what's going to happen? So late to the game, we still got the 30,000 or whatever, 30,000 to go. But what really I carried with me that made all the difference in the world, are any of you letter writers? Did you write anything to the Chayalim? Any of you? Put your hands up. So I don't know why, I think, I read out all the names. I had over 850 letters. And some not such clever kids, what do? What would a not clever kid do? Which wouldn't be you guys. but they didn't sign the letters with their names. So if I read out the letter and it didn't have a name, what could I do? I couldn't read out your name. So maybe you were there and I just didn't read out your name, but I don't believe you would have left your name off. But some of the letters were really cute. And I just have this one, yeah. You see the name on there? Anyway, if I tell you a letter, what does it do for the morale? How does it inspire people?
Well, when they're in like a hard situation, they know that people are still davening for them, like if they're in Gaza, and they feel like there's something that like to push forward.
Absolutely. I'm telling you now, that's right. It gives them inspiration. You would think a letter from a kid younger than yourselves, totally incorrectly spelt. Everything, the love that oozes out of the letter, and there was not one, I'm telling you now, I had 850 letters. Not one encounter. Now, you imagine if you're a soldier, you've probably got a lot weighing on your mind. I mean, I've got a friend of mine who's in the medical unit in Gaza. His friend, oh no, wait a minute, Matan Dadun, okay, who was here at the school, in that elite unit, one of his best friends that he trained with is a hostage. So when you realize that these soldiers have things on their minds, and they can still be so gracious and so happy to get the letters from what you wrote, it's unbelievable. Matan, what he did with his letter that I gave to him, he says, you know what, this letter means so much to me. He unfolded his pocket and he says, all my special things going to. So when he's in the war right now, he's got that letter. And so what you guys did is amazing. The other thing, when I'm at shul, as well as when you're davening in the morning, you probably say a tehillim for the soldiers or for Israel. If you could keep in mind one thing, one person, you don't have to have all of one soldier, one person, and you focus that person is representing all, and you read the words and you really connect with it, that's going to, all the soldiers told me that the tehillim that people are saying means everything to them. So all the prayers that you do, sometimes you think, I'm just doing it. Now, how much does your davening count? Does it count for you or for anybody else? In the last 2 weeks, have you been davening?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Why do I say thank you so much? Because I really, truthfully, told Rabbi Roden, Rabbi, I didn't have time to daven. How can you say you didn't have time to daven? Literally, boom, 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 boom. Things right on top of the other, and you should put your davening first. And I spoke to Rabbi, when you daven, and you're davening in the plural, you're davening for other people, keep those people in mind, they can't daven. Maybe the hostages don't have a siddur and they need one to daven. Think when you're davening for them as well. And hopefully your davening counted for me a little bit. Now I've got to make up. It's not so easy. How do I make up? I did daven, a few times. I went to the kotel and everything else like that. But it was 2 weeks of jam-packed. Seeing the people on the street, speaking to as many soldiers as we could. Here's a beautiful story. I went to 2 hospitals. One is Sharet Tzedek, which is in Yerushalayim. And we want to go and visit some injured soldiers. So you'd think, okay, well, easy enough. But people have good intent when they go. You guys wouldn't be in that category because you had a Torah Day School and you'll know how to be properly able to approach people in that. But I was speaking to Yossi Katz, who is the head of the IDF for that particular hospital, and he said, Ivan, it's nice that people want to come and visit, but you've got to understand, these people's lives have changed. The soldiers' lives have changed. The families that are with them right now are changed. They're dealing with very difficult situations. And then you have a happy chappy like a little Yankee like me, coming along with my bright shirt, and I'm going to be, happy, or all that. Obviously I wasn't going to be, but you can imagine if someone comes in and they're all, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai. These people aren't in that state just as yet. But we were blessed again, to be able to directly go and meet with the injured soldiers. So when I speak today, I want this talk, if it's of any benefit to you or any other person that hears it, that it should be for a Fuhrschleimer for all our Chayalim that are injured. But more particularly, again, remember, if we can focus on one person and you have the others in mind, that's good. So the first one I met was with Or. And Or's mother's name is Nata, so Or ben Nata. And he had been injured over his face. His physical body was somewhat okay, but you don't know what's really going on. But he had shrapnel in his eye and all of that had to come out. And he was injured enough on his leg as well from, I think it was a grenade. But there he's lying in bed and I meet his family, wonderful people. And we were fortunate enough, thanks to you guys, we could take the letter, give him a letter which he loved, could give him a little bit of, I decided there and then, yeah, you're lying in the hospital, so what can you do? I don't know what their financial condition is. Maybe you give them a little bit of money, that might help them. Maybe you buy a few gift cards for the local bakery and you give them that. And I had a rock that I had with me and I gave him a rock, which he cried and loved it. So all those things were good. But then the brother-in-law says to me, Shmuel, his name is, Ivan, you cannot believe what an impact you made on the family and but more on the family because they were struggling financially, and this really helped out. Okay. We said our hellos and everything else, we go to the next room, we go and meet another individual by the name of Ariel Ben Ephraim. That's his name for Shleimer as well. Or didn't speak much English, but I didn't speak Hebrew. But when you are genuine and you're sincere, you connect with people. And there's someone, Yossi Katz was with us at the time, so he managed to interpret things. And each one went through a lot of difficulty. But I'm just going to highlight and then just move on. But Ariel, I meet his sister, Adi. Okay, so I meet his sister, Adi, I meet his parents. Very nice. Now I go down, I must go and get my gift cards, because that's what I want to do. Go to the bakery, and behind the bakery is a guy by the name of Run. He's a guy waiting, serving people over the counter. So I said, I'd like 500 shekel worth of gift cards, please. 500 for each. So he says to me, do you mind if it's in 5 100 gift cards? I said, I don't care, five 100s or 1 5. He says, it's easier, then they don't have to get it changed, and not a problem at all. So we go outside just waiting for while he's preparing the gift certificates. And a big tray of, they were delicious. You guys missed out big time. I'm sorry. Safganiyot, the donuts were unbelievable. And they come and they say, come, take a safganiyot. Fine, what do you think? I'm like, I don't know, but I get that, and I'm not realizing what's happening. So I take one, it's delicious. He says, you cannot have a safganiyot without coffee. What coffee do you want? You see, you can give something, but it's not complete sometimes. You can go another step to go, but they did it. So I come back in to pay for the gift cards. Ran says, I can't, you can't buy it. Ran, what are you talking about? He says, I'll let you buy 400 shekel, but I want to buy the other 100 shekel. Now he's waiting behind I don't know how much he has or what he doesn't, but I want to be part of that mitzvah. Then the owner also wants to become part of the mitzvah. In the hospital, they wanted to be part of that mitzvah. Did I ask them? No, I didn't ask them. Was I going to deny them the opportunity? For sure not. But in that bakery in Shaarei Tzedek, such chesed, every day, all the stuff that they have, they go and give out to the Chayalim at the end of the day. Guys have got big hearts, incredible hearts. That's Shaarei Tzedek. So we met our two guys, right? We met Or Ben Nata. You see, this is a test, so you have to be wide awake. And Ariel Ben, hey, you got it right, Ephrat. Okay, so we've got those two soldiers covered. Now we go on to see, let me jump forward. I don't know, I had so many experiences, I don't know where to go. But I'm looking in your eye and I think this is where you want me to go. So we're driving from Yerushalayim to Modi'in. I rented a car. And when you get to a checkpoint, they check your car or they look in your car to see who's there or not there. So fine, the guy goes ahead of me, and you know the typical Israeli expression is, could I please wait? Yeah, fine, well, I'm not in that much of a rush, I'll wait. So what does he do? He goes to his trunk of his car and he takes out a big case of cold drinks and he gives it to the chayalim, to the guards that are there. Okay. Chesed there was unbelievable in every way. And we can learn from that how we can help people as well. But little gestures, telling them that we love them, that we support them, it meant everything. When I told them that the women in Dallas were doing Tehillim 24/7, they were really moved. Now understand something, I'm one person, I was with Hillel. All I'm doing is touching a small part of Israel. There's so much more to be touched. By the way, this is not an easy war. Not an easy war at all. Yeah, Israel, please God, it should be strong. Remember, the only way we win a war is how? Huh? Davening, speaking to Hashem. Hashem is in control of everything. If I told you, Ein od milvado, there's nothing but Hashem, understand that October the 7th, how terrible it was, and it really was bad. If Hashem didn't want it to happen, it wouldn't have happened. The achdus between, the unity between the people, there's no separation. They've got one goal. There's no political division or anything like that. It took for those monsters to help connect us. We couldn't connect ourselves by ourselves. And it took them to get us so unified and connected. But the war's not over. When I see, when they have the soldiers that are killed, that's terrible. But then I went to the ICU unit in a hospital called Tel Shomer. And there they have a lot of the significantly traumatized brain injuries. So I landed up, Tyler from he went yesterday to Israel. Please God, he'll be successful there. And so he had mentioned to me that his aunt knew this guy, Ben. So Ben, there was a picture of him with his dog. His dog's name was Jack. And 2 days before he went into Gaza, he puts out a beautiful message, which I believe is on my chat or whatever. And he's just saying thank you to everyone and everything else. He goes in Gaza for 2 days. He comes out on the stretcher, unconscious, completely unconscious. His dog has been killed. So the picture, I had a friend of mine here in Dallas, Janice Skolnick, to draw the picture of him and his dog. So I could go take the picture to them. So it wasn't easy getting through to the father and to the mother, a nudnik from America trying to call, it's very nice sort of thing. You just want your space. You don't need, you're very happy that people are trying to come. But I went there, connected with Yechi, the father, and with Sipporah, the mother, and we really had a good connection. So even though you think it's impossible, I went there, she just said, no, look, we're not really wanting to see anyone. I said, look, all I want to do is give you the picture. And I'll run away as fast as I can. So I went there and I didn't have to run away. We were there. And it so happened that Ben, who was out for at least 2.5 months, totally unconscious. On the first night of Hanukkah, flicker of light. And then we were there on the 8th day of Hanukkah, and it was miraculous. They just said, wow, he's awake. But that doesn't mean anything. Even though he's awake, it means that he's awake, thank God. Now he can start going ahead. But the journey's not over at all. Supposedly he's angry now. You don't know what You see, the whole thing is when people are fighting in Gaza, if they were to see the horrors of October the 7th, when you see something as terrible as that, your mind can see it and can't let go of it. So you don't know what's in the mind or anything. I don't know what the anger's about. He's entitled to be angry. No one's saying he's not. But there was Ben on the 8th day. I said hi to him. I couldn't go in, and he said hi in his South African accent, so I could hear that he was lucid enough to do that. So then okay, we've done our job, given the picture. The picture they loved. The guy, there's a thing called Brothers in Love. And what they do is they send a soldier that's had this kind of injury and has got over it. He now becomes the coach or the mentor to the person that's going through a similar situation. And he came out, he says, you cannot believe that picture that Jenna drew is unbelievable, because I had a similar dog and I knew it. It's exactly. He said, I can't believe. Why did I tell you that? That made such a difference. They just loved the fact. So they're putting it next to his bed, to Ben's bed, so when he really became aware, he could know, what was or whatever. So the father, Yechi, says to me, you can't leave now. It's okay, he's telling me I can't leave now. Obviously there must be a good reason. And sure enough, it was a very, very good reason. There was a soldier in the ICU. There's a lot of them, by the way. That's what's so sad. I'm just telling you about 2. Yoni was shot 12 times. He had both of his legs amputated up to here. So all he's got is his torso. Under the blankets or sheets, you can't see anything like that. And then it's the 8th night of Hanukkah, and he's going to do the blessings for the 8th night of Hanukkah. But what I didn't tell you is that he's got a trachea put into his throat. And you hear him say the brachas. It was very, very, I've got it on video. Really moving. And his family's around there. His name is Yoni Brief, like if you spell a brief letter, B-R-I-E-F. His father's name is David Brief. And his mother's name is, you don't know, so I'll tell you, Hazel. So I'd never got the opportunity of getting the mother's Hebrew name. So you've got 2 names that I told you before from Sharet Tzedek. So Ben's name is Ben Yosef Ben Sipora. Okay, Ben Yosef Ben Sipora. And the other soldier's name is Yoni, the one that got shot 12 times, torso, and he's got that trachea and said the blessing. His name is Yoni Ben Hazel, until we get the Hebrew name. Now, they are from America, David Brief and Helen Brief, and I speak to him, and he says, is there a person in your community by the name of? Anyone want to guess? You wouldn't know, but maybe you will. Amatzia. So I said, Amatzia, yeah, Amatzia Hartman, yeah, he comes to our shul. He said, I taught him his bar mitzvah or something like that. Somehow they were very well connected. So you see, we're all connected in a way. But if we can just think of these soldiers, it was so moving when you see how this guy said the bracha, and then he's conducting everyone while they're singing afterwards. The encounters that I had were just remarkable. Now to take you on a little journey. I'm out of time, sorry. Okay, 5 more minutes. I'm going to talk to you about Matan. So Matan Dadun, who was formerly at Torah Day School, I think he went to TTI for a little bit as well, lived in Dallas. Through him, I don't know how I was able to do anything. Again, Einod Milvado. So I'm speaking to a commander for the Golani unit, because that's who Matan told me about. And I said, I want to buy all you guys a barbecue. We're going to have a barbecue up there. Oh wow, they're excited. Steaks, whatever. So I found out there's a barbecue guy that can do it. Yeah, I do it all the time, no problem, everything. Okay, so I'm confident. He tells me, the commander, be there at 4 p.m. Now, when a commander tells you 4 p.m. and it's in a serious thing, you better be there at 4 p.m. However it worked, I arrived at 5:03. And I said, look, just go ahead, forget about me. I missed the opportunity. The barbecue's still going to be there, but I just won't be there. They waited. So I go there to the actual place where I meet the commander. And he said, oh, thank you for coming. It's great. We're going to make it. So I'm driving in a little Nissan, not a fancy car. And he says, well, I just want to let you know that the cook that you got is not coming. Why? He says he's too scared to go. His wife said there's no ways you're going there, so he's not coming. But they had all the food in the trucks of the army. So I follow in my little thing. The commander comes with me in my car, and we have to go staging up from this place quite high, and then we get into the unit. Now, understand that no civilian has entered that unit. We were the first people to enter that unit. We were literally by Lebanon. But not literally by Lebanon, I was in Lebanon. Now, how can I prove to you that I was in Lebanon? I could show you trees and different things, and I'll say, oh yeah, that's Lebanon. You wouldn't be able to draw the distinction one way or the other. But I was lucky enough or fortunate enough to be smart enough. On my phone, as I'm there, my phone says, you are now in Lebanon. Your provider does not provide service to this area. Any minute, whatever. So I've got that captured, so you can see that I was in Lebanon. And there I was with my ton. You cannot believe, it was my dad's yacht site that night. So I dashed up. I was able to take the Amud to be able to lead the services, and they allowed me to light the candles for the unit. Very, very special. When you see the Achdus, now, if anyone, have you ever heard someone say that Israel is a racist state? Okay, if you haven't, that's okay. Of course it's not. When you see that unit, it's got every type of individual, Jews, people from Africa, all different kind of India, all different types of people, all together with incredible actors. Now, one more person I have to have you in mind. Sorry, Rabbi. There's one person, my brother-in-law has had no air. His lungs have not been working for over 18 months. What that means is you have to have oxygen tanks going into your system the whole time. And he was weak. There's no ways a person's going to give you a transplant of new lungs into a person that's weak. It's a very serious operation. Come home, I get a text from my sister. We're on our way to Beilinson. The American systems had rejected him. We're on our way to Beilinson. They've got lungs. He's having the procedure. So he's had the procedure. They said it was very successful. He's at 95% breathing, but now there's a setback or whatever. But the whole idea, you've heard the concept of Yeshua Hashem Keheref Ayin. I was only speaking to him 3 days ago about his death. You've done a great job in this world. You've taken care of my sister. You've done all of that. So you can never give up. You've always heard, like, you've even got a sword at your neck. This was that. Please God, it works out. His name is Yitzhak Amram ben Masuda. Guys, it's you who are keeping Israel alive. If you knew how rare each of you are in terms of your education. I'm making up Bobermeisters, I'm trying to make you feel good and everything. No, not true. The Jewish population in the world, supposedly, is 15 million. Connected to Hashem in a Torah Day environment like this, I don't know. Rabbi, you probably know better numbers than me. Maybe there's 100,000, 200,000 school kids, I don't know, learning Torah in this kind of environment. That's the only thing that's keeping us alive. You've heard the stories in the Bible that when people are fighting or going through a war, it's a war against all of us. It's not against Israel, it's against the Jews, it's against us as a people. You guys are the leaders going forward. Everyone is very, very concerned about the future of their grandchildren and everybody else because of the people that are coming up. People that are not connected to Torah, people that don't know anything about it. So you are our leaders. You are the ones taking us forward. And you, when you are at your age, you are more pure than a lot of the older people. So your prayers are even more valuable. So all I want to tell you guys is thank you for being at this school, for being Jewish, and for helping the Jewish people. Now, we are sending letters back to the soldiers. If you want to write the letter. And if you have your name on it, I'll take it, or we'll get it to the soldiers. If you don't have your name on it, we'll send it to the B team, and they may not get them. So if you want to write any letters to the Chayalim, or to injured soldiers, more specifically, or you could take one of those names and say, look, I decided to write your letter Or I decided to write your letter Ariel, or I decided to write your letter Ben or Yoni. And we heard about you, and we love you, and we support you, and we wish you well. We know the journey is going to be tough, but we're all davening for you. Have a great day.